Wendell?
I'm Wendell Holbert, I'm the building commissioner for Hampton.
Yeah, Court Pay, I work for this one.
Peter King, I'm doing the HVAC.
Fred Rivers, I am talking to them.
Jane Dinklage, Board of Health, and do a lot of maintenance on the building.
Yvonne Cruz and Tighe and Bond.
Camilla O'Neill, Tighe and Bond, structural engineer. Rhea Lamorell from Tighe and Bond, I'll be doing fire protection and plumbing.
Nick Day from Tighe and Bond, land use and transportation, site civil.
And Matt Romano from Tighe and Bond, electrical.
Okay. Just to review what we're about today, the town has contracted with Tighe and Bond to evaluate Town Hall. In looking at both the structural needs of the building and the potential cost of large-scale capital investment to enable the town to use the building for the next, say, 30 or 50 years. And secondly, we would like to understand what the cost will be to make the building fully accessible and ADA compliant. As you can see or will see today, we do not have an elevator, and there are many parts of the building that are not in compliance with ADA standards. And clearly, if we're going to make a significant capital investment, it will trigger the ADA compliance standards. So that's what we're interested in. And I think we're leading towards a decision at some point by the Board of Selectmen as to whether or not to remain in the building or to look somewhere else to establish Town Hall. I think that's pretty much a summary of. Anyone have anything to add to that? Okay. Why don't I turn it over to Bond?
I guess I have a question, as far as remaining the building, what are the most, I guess some of the things that really need a lot of fixing, you can point out to us what to really look for, and check and verify, except for just the, accessibility, the structural, any kind of equipment, that might need to be fixed, things like that.
I think our biggest question was structural, mechanical, electrical, obviously fire protection. If we have to go there up, if we go over a certain dollar amount, we'll probably have to bring that up to code as well. But we're looking like Bob said, next 30, 50, 60 years, can we sustain this is our town hall while being budget conscious? Is it going to cost more money to fix this building than it would be to relocate, or is it worth investing in this building for the long term? So we don't know the structural condition of this building. It's been a long time since that's been assessed. Obviously the plumbing is outdated, the electrical's outdated, stuff like that. We just need to know the cost analysis of all those things, in addition to the accessibility of the ADA.
There's nothing particular, just walk through the building again for us.
I mean, there are some visible things that we've seen, the front wall going out and cracking.
So that, yeah.
Go down to the mechanical room, it's a mess. There's wires and pipes, water and floor and stuff like that. You go into a certain area, you can see the lights are falling. Like in the auditoriums, you look at handicapped parking, stuff like that. And again, accessibility is the big key. We have, technically what, 3 floors here, there, and then up there. Nothing's accessible either.
And I would certainly ask Wendell and Jane, who probably are as familiar with the structural problems of the building as anyone, to start you off, show you around, and show you where they think that we have some issues. You'll see one wall that is bowing outward, and which I think everyone sees, and certainly we see the potential there for very important structural deficiency.
And then there's an area too that looks like it's got water leaks that's been decades in the making. we don't know where that's going.
On the electrical side, are there any issues that you know of as like breakers tripping, circuit lights going
Oh, yeah.
out? Yeah,
There's many,
okay,
there's many.
okay,
I had an electrician come in and change a light bulb and he said, I will never change a light bulb here again. So there's just a few.
all right.
Plumbing, you wanna know those too?
I'd love to.
Okay, yeah, I have a camera of the whole septic line coming down Roto-Rooter took. Because we had such a problem, we just had a collapse, well, a storage tank, water tank. For septic that was collapsing, so we had crushed fill and stuff over it. You know, I'll show you the old grease trap.
Yep.
Which is
Okay.
horrific.
Sure.
I mean, it's, and now we have a problem as of this morning with water backing up this. I mean, there's, yeah, there's a few.
Yeah, okay.
I think nobody's ever mentioned this. And it's all sealed up.
That wasn't ever mentioned. But I can show you where that was too. It's behind these offices.
Hey, Craig, if I can make a point, John Flynn from the Selectmen. The other concern is that we have a size issue. You know, we were fortunate a few years back that we were able to reclaim some of the space in the town hall by moving the police department out. And I think, Pam, was that we picked up like roughly 900 square feet or something like that? And if we didn't get that, we'd be so limited right now. But as growth of government continues, we're talking about a building department, a commonality type thing. We have no room for it. I think an analysis of, is the building really sized for the 21st century is part of the plan as well. I mean, is there a place you can put an addition on? Do you say, you know, I think the library has to go and then the town hall can use the top part? But you go back to accessibility. And at what point do you say, you just can't put a coat of paint on this. You just can't make this thing work for the future. I think Craig talked about the fact we're asking you to look at every system in the town hall. You know, is this building good for the 21st century? Because everything needs to be fixed.
And then there's the question of storage for paper that we have to keep. There's some things we cannot just, you know, scan and archive that way. Some of the paper we have to keep by, you know, by our rules and regulations. So building, septic, you know, that kind of stuff. So it's not like we can just empty all the paper out, scan it in, and we'll be good. I mean, there's some stuff we just can't do that.
Is the old shooting range, you said it's sealed off, it's not used, that's,
Blocked off, concrete blocked off.
oh, okay.
Can't even go in it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how long ago that was done, but it's
I'll show you where. it is.
years ago.
So we don't know if it's even usable space, because we can't get in there.
I would assume it was blocked off because of maybe lead. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what the condition was or how it is, and there's really no way to go in there unless you let you hammer the wall down.
Is that like under the building, or is it like shooting
Beside.
out?
Yeah, it's underneath the auditorium pretty much. It's like behind these walls that way.
Do you know of any electrical upgrades that have been done in the last 10, 20 years, or is everything pretty much?
I can show you, I have pictures as we upgraded and where we upgraded.
Okay.
So I can show you that, but pretty much, other than the new section that we added on, is the only
Everything's
new,
original.
yeah.
And it's probably been piecemeal here and there.
Yeah.
And you move a ceiling tile and you're gonna get wires falling all over you.
Okay.
Sorry.
We removed a lot of it as we, you know, like with the
Where we
adding, you know, when we got the police department, obviously there was a lot of communication where somebody just like opened the ceiling, just threw a ball of wire to the other location.
Gotcha.
So there's a lot of, and there's a lot of different hands, a lot of different mechanics, so they're just showing up trying to expedite their stuff the easiest way they can. We have tons of wire mold, we have tons of surface mounted stuff, it's, yeah. But we have cleaned out a lot of it as we've gone, just because it's like,
There's so much.
well, I mean, for any decent electrician to show up, you have to kind of shake down where everything is, and
Yeah.
And if you're smart and remove one, you can remove, but,
Yeah.
you know, this is a 1936 school hybrid into a municipal building. So obviously it's gonna carry all the baggage that comes with that retrofit.
Yeah, there is this system. We also have the vents under the ceilings that aren't used, but they're still there. There's vents from the outside that just come in an event and then just stop. I mean, we have, it's pretty much on.
So as more things are added, it's be more difficult to do
Right.
and work.
There's abandoned
Absolutely.
systems, you know, where they just have left them instead of taking them out.
And as far as aesthetically, architecturally, I mean, if you're going to this building for the next 30 years, everything basically has to be done and finished, right?
I would think. And we want it
Just
to
wanna
look
verify.
beautiful, by the way. And we have a cupola sitting out there that we don't have on the top, but we had to take it down.
2 years ago, we
because-
had a roof leak, we had to take the cupola off, the roof. It's next to over it.
Yeah, and I think that had been going on for a long time, because when I went up there, somebody took the forethought of putting like a 8x8 metal pan underneath it. So it would literally catch the water as it was coming out of the cupola.
Wow.
That's why I,
Look on your face.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, if you go up the front stairs, you'll see the water spots, and that's where it's located. I mean, we worked very hard just to get them to remove the damn thing and just patch it over. And then worry about putting the heirloom cupola on another time.
And I think Wendell and I walk around and just put fingers in the holes and try and stop as long as we can.
I'll just think of, I don't think we're looking for a complete gut and remodel, because that's gonna obviously be over budget. But we're not looking just at Band-Aid solutions. We wanna make sure that we're sustainable without completely, you know, we had to, you know, soup the nuts, cut down the whole building, rebuild it from the inside out. I don't think we're looking to go that route.
Yeah.
But, you know, we need to know what we're dealing with. I guess.
I feel like once you start though, it'd be like
I know.
picking the scab,
Yeah, and it might be, it
you
might be.
know, and you're gonna have to fix
And
what
then
you
you pay
see.
so much and then you're gonna have to,
This is a porous building,
and
Well, I mean,
ADA
just by
compliant.
the rodents and insects we get in here, snakes,
Oh, yeah.
mice.
It's neat,
Um,
nice.
I don't know if you want to do two separate reports or one report, because we are working with the State Office of Disabilities to get an acceptable plan in their hands, which would then make the town eligible for up to $250,000 a year to make our town buildings more accessible. So we're also looking at the ability to submit a plan to the state office that will be acceptable to them, that will enable the town to do a series of projects with grant money.
Was the roof redone at some point, or is it original?
And when we were been here when they did the, that was 20 years, I think. And I would say 20, yeah, it was bad. And that was just the rubber part of it, that wasn't the front part that's shingle. Correct. I don't know when that was last time. Well, it's been piecemeal because every time there's a roof in the leak in the roof, they try and go in and tar it, and, you know, take off the shingles around the chimney and, you know, John, correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, we try and as good as we can. And then when they took down the cupola, they also put some shingles on, but a total roof job, no. I've been here for 20 years and so has PM. One of us would have been tasked with it.
It's a fairly modern roof, though, architectural shingle.
Yeah, not bad, but
Weren't
still.
using them 35 years ago, 40 years ago, and last 20, 30 years. And they usually
You need any other information, or are there any other questions?
I think that's enough, right? Is that even?
So you're saying there was a mechanical problems?
Yeah.
What?
I'll show you.
It's not easier to get down there, just kind of look at it. Some of the sump pumps are failing, the way the plumbing is routed out, is wrong, just the whole mechanical room layout.
The sump pumps empty back to the basement.
The water heaters vented, it'll be leaking.
And just, if you look down in the mechanical room down below us, you can just see old conduit, old wiring, old.
Oh, I'll show you,
fixtures,
it's fine.
Okay, it's kind of a mess down there.
Yeah. And we have water issues, you know, in the mechanical room, which the sump pump will pump stuff out and the water runs right back in around the pipe. The sump pump's on.
As of heating wise, you don't use heat anytime.
They heat off. All the zone valves have to, if the system should be drained and all the zone valves changed. We've done them a couple at a time. I have one sitting on a bench down in the basement because they were hard to get. So I got more than they needed and then I kept some in case we needed it, because they blow. No, the venting for the vents. Hot water heater, yeah, Hobie said it's illegal. I asked again today for the quote. So that should be, that whole heating system. Well, it's not as bad because we can open the windows, but yeah.
Building a stop.
They call the boiler company, they come, they turn the heat down. And then I have people that complain that they're cold. So then I have them turn it up a little, you know, the outside air temp. So I have them turn it up a little bit and then they turn it up and then people are freezing. Like, I can't, there's no regulating it on thermostat on the wall.
Most of the office space has mini splits, but
Yes.
they're older. And, you know, the mechanical stuff on them, the controls, you have to have the right person. These are all like hybrid systems where, you know, something would go wrong in town and, you know, some guy from town at the time would be like, hey, I can do that. And he'll show up and help everybody out. But it's really kind of not like that.
But to your point,
Island
for
stuff.
have the heat on, we can't regulate it, people are running mini splits and there goes our electric bill.
Cool down.
Right. Go down.
Right.
And we share those in these splits, so my neighbor and coworker has the air on, and meanwhile, I'm freezing. And I can't,
Oh, yeah, did we say
regulate at all.
it's a building full of women? So our temperature fluctuates.
I don't touch the
I'm putting-
thermostat.
So it's hard. But they got kind of mini splits for that kind of. Even though, yeah, like Craig's point, we're wasting a lot. We know that, and we don't mean to, but it's either cold or hot. Yeah,
I understand.
it's. Yeah, and the lighting, you'll see some of the lighting is newer and then the flat panels, the LED flat panel, which are beautiful, and then others are these.
And to that point, there's shared circuitry between the offices. So if somebody's running a copier in one room, the light will flicker in the other room,
Or coffee maker, yeah.
or a coffee maker.
It's
Um,
fun. We all,
Well, again, you know, it wasn't, these were classrooms, and then they were split. And now they're offices.
They didn't design for this top high power stuff, like, I mean, a coffee maker.
You're dealing with, you know, 1936 building that they tried to retrofit with technology all through it, so the heating system, for your point, is great, because it's like a little tube lids right through time. You know, here we are with steam, now we're doing baseboard hot water, now we got mini splits, you know, so all these systems are almost working independently. And the controls
And not well.
are where it's at, you know.
and in all fairness, we have tried to keep it up and
Oh,
fix
God,
things as they break and, you know, I'm just the girl behind the desk. What the heck do I know? But, you know, we have tried to keep it up and not have it fall apart to the best of our ability. And the people that we've had come into work are all top-notch people. It's not like we've had, you know, bozos from the corner. I mean, we've had top-notch people come in and work and trying to solve our problems on a municipal budget. So it's not like we have totally like massacred the building purposely.
No, but they can't
We
make
just tried to make
what
it.
they are getting, they can't make all of that stuff
Right.
disappear.
They try,
Yeah.
they really try, and they do a good job when they're here. But then there's so many problems that keep popping up. That we got to this point where we're saying, come in and tell us what we need.
How many employees come here like every day?
15 to 25, I would say.
yeah. The library's on the top, like, top tier. And they have a lot of kids, there's a lot going on.
They have a lot of programming.
And in the auditorium, which is just above this, so the noise goes everywhere. And not that we don't love children, because we do, it's the thing we love when the children come here, but it's hard to pretend that when children come here.
Literally gone upstairs and told the librarians, whatever happened, if they're above my office. Playing. I don't know.
Too, the flavor's above his.
Nobody can tell anybody's kid to shut up nowadays. It's bad.
Okay, but we love
Okay.
children.
Are we all set? Are we all set? One last question would be, can you give us an approximate timetable?
You should figure out things right now.
Okay, so we have our site visit today, that'll help us, I guess, figure out what we need to address and this to report. Our time for the proposal was 16 weeks, starting from today, which would be our kickoff meeting and our site visit. So I don't see why we can't meet that schedule, so I guess 16 weeks from now. See what it is.
Okay,
Does that work for you, or?
Like,
yeah, I think that works for us. Oh,
Yeah, I mean, 16 weeks is 16 weeks. I mean, you know, this has been kicked down the road for years, and then.
Yeah.
It
When
might
is
even
the
recently,
deadline?
like, we're gonna get the small one, so I think 16 weeks is better than what it's been.
Okay.
You just promise you'll come back, right? Oh, running, thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all.
I don't know if it's worth mentioning, but I think, at least on the electrical side, I'm sure other disciplines might be somewhat similar, but, there's kind of different levels of what can be fixed. On the
Right.
electrical side, there's the main electrical distribution equipment, the big stuff, and then there's literally, miles of small wiring throughout the building, feeding all the different little circuits everywhere. So, it's kind of like, so we can put a price to it, to give you an idea.
But you can only address what you can see, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
You're not gonna go behind walls and stuff like that.
exactly. But, we have the experience to make, reasonable assumptions. So there's replacing all the main stuff, and but then it would be a separate item to replace
Yeah.
all the wiring out,
Keep
everything.
going, yeah.
You'd be surprised at how expensive it is, because, it's the thin little wiring going everywhere, but it's going everywhere.
Right.
So it's, but, we can, put prices to that.
Yeah, and I think you'll probably get a general idea of what you see that's visible, and then kind of things that be a reasonable guess of what the rest looks like. That's not.
Yeah, and then there's kind of in between, like you mentioned, circuits flowing because people are plugging too many things in and they're shared throughout rooms. We could add a couple circuits, add a circuit to where you're plugging in high power things like, the coffee maker, microwaves, things like that. That'll help, the light flickering issue and possibly, overloading circuits, but, so there's different things that can be done. And as
That's why you're the expert.
yeah.
Right.
And in fairness, when we did the remodel and built the offices in the center and nixed the police station, a lot of that stuff was done where we put sub panels in, we split stuff up, we tried, while everything was open.
Yeah. And is there a security system? Or working?
There's a camera system.
Oh, okay.
And door locks
Okay.
in
But
my office.
just regular locks.
No,
Okay, like a.
automatic
okay,
locks. Yeah.
Gotcha, okay. All right, and then, fire alarm system, do we know if it's working? It is.
It is.
Working, okay.
Are you looking at me like that? It works. We can
I'm not looking at you like that.
steal a
not
cookie out here and set it off, remember?
You were cooking.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we also have the heat detectors in the auditorium go off on a hot summer day also.
Oh,
I think that, I think they go off at like 110 or 150.
And we also have we just installed a high water level in our panel, in our alarm panel for the basement and mechanical room too.
Like a high water level, like
Yeah.
flooding?
So that we
But not
don't,
much,
when we
so
flood,
The
when we flood, we flood.
the flood of
With the second
2022.
flood.
Systems.
Does that connect to, the fire system?
Please, yes,
Oh.
and it goes to the dispatch.
Okay.
How high does the water get?
About 5 feet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we have a little one.
The air tanks for the well. were full. Pressure tank.
Again,
We had a
second
water-
time.
We had a water main, a faulty valve on it. It just unloaded for hours.
That was.
So yeah, the municipal well. They could even drew that down,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're down to nothing.
right?
And that was the second one. The first one, some pumps failed and the basement just filled up with water. So much water coming in.
I hope you guys are ready.
All I hear is the building's got a lot of character.
I like your attitude. I like your attitude.
Buildings with you.
You wanna-
Oh, yeah. Please give me more.
See what we're up against. If you look at, I mean, just paper.
Yeah.
And no place to put it, we have no set storage area just to keep documents and keep them safe. I don't know if it requires an outbuilding that's conditioned or what, but we are drowning paper.
In the new offices, in case anything rips, we have patches, marketing. We're cheap. I think
Perfect.
cost effective.
Bing.
It's good, right?
All right, so what's next?
Everybody good?
Yeah. Are we allowed to just be kind of set free
Go.
and explore?
Be free.
Okay.
Do you want to see some of the hidden areas?
Yes, some hints to where the weird stuff is, and especially, I think all of us want to be down in like the mechanical room.
I'd love to take
First
people
thing.
there.
We can show you where all the securities are, and then you guys can, divide and conquer however you're gonna work.
Sounds perfect.
Bob, are you good?
We're good. Just one other thought that I had. We do have a grant from the state to replace windows. So, we applied to replace the large windows upstairs, but it looks like we're going to have substantial amount of money and may be able to replace all windows that need to be replaced.
All
Okay.
windows.
Yeah.
Need to be replaced.
Okay.
Just a hand.
All right, are we all set?
Yeah.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all.
Sure.